Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy II. In the last part, we did stuff that I can't quite recall. We raided Cashewon.
We saw Gordon somewhere.
Yeah,
I recall
Cashewon.
that.
We went to Cashewon, that's right.
Cashewon Castle with the Sunflame and stuff.
Yeah, and destroyed the warship. But apparently, even after all that's done, the king, who we have only seen like a total of twice, is in worsening condition. So let's go see him.
Come here, all sit this time.
He's actually appointing Gordon to be the new commander-in-chief of the rebellion, which is a move that I don't see absolutely why. And he's asking men to go break the Forbidden Seal. As to what magic he's unsealing, we won't find out about that for a while. But he's telling us to go to Dist to get the aid of the Dragoons.
I'm pretty sure I know what spell he's breaking.
Yeah, but either way, he's telling us to go to Dist, get the Hiryu and the Dragoons to help us.
It's diced.
It's diced in later translations, but it's Dist here. And
It's such
of course,
a stupid name.
he dies worrying about his daughter. He imploded! Sprite limitations. Before Final Fantasy VII, Advent Children with their weird pyrofly things. Though I suppose, technically speaking, 10 did that first. Either way, yeah, the king kind of died and just told us to go screw off on a mission. And it's at this point that the plot kind of gets a bit derailed because we're sent on various little side missions for the most part.
It's a good thing that this is non-linear though.
Yeah, well, it's not linear in a sense. This is way more directed than Final Fantasy I ever could hope to be. But they tell you where to go. They just don't tell you how to get there. It's kind of like Metroid Fusion, actually.
Oh, I didn't know Hiryus existed in this game.
Yeah, this was actually where Hiryus were introduced. Although Hiryu is technically inaccurate. It's supposed to be like Wyvern. Either way, even though Gordon left our party, I did take off his Mithril shield, so I won't have to buy a new one for the next party member. So let's talk to some people around here. It's in the Eastern Sea, on an island. So that's how we have to get there. We have to find a way to get through the sea. And the only place that we know of that has a port are Poft and Palm. So let's go check out Palm first, shall we?
I am scared suddenly.
Why?
I put my water down, and before I could close the cap, it spilled, and it got really dangerously close to my charger.
Ooh. Either way, let's see what's going on in Palm. Hey, a new NPC! This is Layla. And thankfully, her ship's about to head over to Dist anyway, so we're gonna hitch a ride with her. Though Maria thinks it's suspicious, why not? The NPCs cannot attack us. This isn't, the captain's. And her ship's right over there to the right. We don't mention bygone. We let bygones be bygones.
No. Fine, I'll give it to you this time.
Layla, what are you doing? Oh. So they're pirates. And they're immediately seeking them after us for our first enemy in the part, which is kind of a mini-boss against pirates. However, these guys are about as easy as the pirates were in Final Fantasy I. Rank 1 enemy, 45 HP, can drop 100 to 400 gil. And they don't really have anything special about them. They go down really quickly. Heck, I think there's even less of them than there were in Final Fantasy I when you fought the pirates back in Provoca or whatever town that was.
I wish I could help you recall, but I unfortunately cannot. And holy moly, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, but thankfully 45 HP makes them pretty simple.
Yeah, but holy god, oh my god, groups of 8? They usually don't have that in Final Fantasy games.
Well, that's because, I think the last game to have 8 be the total highest you can get was 3. Not counting the way that like the Final Fantasy Legends series handled it, where could be like up to 4 different sprites, but there could be multiple sprites laying on top of each other.
Wait, I think 6. I think 6 had something similar where I think up to like 6 or 7 could attack you at once, but not 8. It wasn't 8.
When you mention 6, I immediately think of those dragons, and I think the final dungeon. There's like they only show one of them, but there's like 6 on top of each other.
What? Oh, I think that's the Pearl Dragon.
No, not the Pearl. No, I think that actually does happen in one of the optional boss fights, but there's like a smaller dragon, like a Vector Sturge or something.
Oh, Vector, that's what it's called. It's in Kefka's Tower.
Yeah. Either way, Layla tried to kill us, but we're really quick at forgiving her and ask her to join our party. Which she does in turn. And Layla is honestly my second favorite 4th party member. She starts off damage though for some reason. Because first off, she has great agility in soul and defense, so she's pretty good there. And she already has level 2 weapon levels in both knives, bows, and swords. In fact, she also starts off dual wielding. And with a gold pin, which I'm actually going to take off and give to Furion. Though we want to strip her of most of her stuff, give her a shield, and give her longbow. But you not notice, her attack is only at 7. Even after I give her the Gaussian knife. There is a reason for this, and it's mostly because I also forgot to do it at first, but she is actually left-handed instead of right-handed, so the shield should be in the right hand and the weapon in the left. I forget to do that for a good 10 minutes, though.
Kyle, how could you forget such crucial details?
I know, I even have it in all caps in my secondary notes. Layla is left-handed. Either way, with that, we actually have to head to Dist now, and the way we get to Dist is actually by heading south through this strait.
Let's see. Oh.
And we immediately get thrown into our next battle against...
These are killer fish things, yes. Rank 3 enemies, 100 HP, dropping 25 to 200 gil. They resist fire and poison. They are weak to lightning, of course, since they are fish. And fish suck when they are... Well, fish are delicious when they're fried. I feel bad for Kyle.
Now, at this point, you could technically actually use Layla for this, because she also comes with a level 2 bolt spell. However, we're going to have a better way of dealing bolt damage in the near future anyway. So, it's not really worth doing.
Is it like in the form of a Zeus's Wrath as an item?
Kind of. I've actually already mentioned the weapon that it is. I think it was the mages that could drop it. The magic cane. When you use that as an item, it casts bolt 5.
That's still pretty strong.
Yeah. Keep in mind at this point, fire is at level 5 too, so that's pretty good. Though by the end of the part, I think it's like level 6.
So Layla's only a temporary party member?
Almost.
Or is she permanent?
She's the closest thing to a permanent party member you have, because she's here. Well, she leaves, I think, once. She's here for more or less a third of the game. Every party member in this game that's number 4 is temporary, by all means, because they aren't with you for the entire journey and such.
Well, I mean, Leon was only there for like one battle, and then he was gone, and then Layla is in here for a third of the game, and she's gone, and Minwoo is in there for a good fourth of the game, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to keep you from the descriptions.
Either way, next enemy is an eagle, rank 3 enemy, 140 HP, can drop 50 to 300 gil. Nothing really interesting about them, though.
Except for their name in later translations, which is Helldiver.
Yeah. You could actually run into these guys back at the warship, but for some reason I didn't. Actually, now that I think about it, the whole concept of having 3 party members but a 4th slot that kind of switches out as you progress through the story reminds me a lot of 12.
Oh yeah, with like Larsa as a guest.
Yeah, the
Lamont
guest system.
also as a guest.
That also kind of reminds me of the beginning of 9 with Blank.
Oh, that was... Oh, sad days.
I always knew he was a stoner.
He does look that way. He looks pretty weird.
Actually, one thing I didn't notice about Tantalus until like 3 years ago is that no one in that base is actually human.
No one in the base is human?
Yeah, no one.
Well, it makes sense that. Well, I mean, Marcus is an elf. Well, before we continue with that, new enemy here. Oh, if I can find the notes. Stalactites. That's them, right?
Yes.
Stalactites, rank 4 enemies, 240 HP, dropping 100 to 400 gil. They're weak to poison. Not too special.
Yeah, and I mentioned it last part, but poison is actually a weird thing in this game. That's what the arrow spells element is for some reason. I don't know why that is. In fact, if I recall correctly, 3 even changed it to have its own elements, which is kind of odd. Either way, nothing too hard. If you have the arrow spell, which I don't overly recommend, but if you have it, you go ahead and use it.
Talk to me more about the whole no one in Tantalus is human, because I actually didn't. Well,
think about it. Cinna is whatever. I think Cinna's like an orc. Marcus is goblin.
Goblin/elf thing. I was assuming.
Blank, I have no idea what he is. He doesn't look human because he has that patched up face. And oh shit!
Like
what was the lead?
Maybe kind of like Gino.
I guess. What was the leader's name?
Baku.
Baku's like a pig man. Zidane. Well, we know what Zidane is.
We know what Zidane is, and then there's Bonero, Gennaro, and Zanero.
Yeah, well, I don't really count them because they're rarely there. The only human member, as far as I can recall, is Ruby.
Ruby.
Either way, also, I just noticed while looking at that sprite, is it just me or does the stalactite chain sprite remind you a bit of those enemies you can encounter on the floating continent in 6? Like Naughty, I think their name was?
Oh! Oh, bad memories.
Yeah, I hate Naughty. A lot. Either way, here is the Castle of Dist. Oh, hello there, little boy. Who am I? Oh, I'm just a giant man with a sword. Oh no, he's gonna tell his mother, run!
I'll tell Mom.
Either way, we want to raid the castle here, and we get a cottage. That does what you think it would. It restores your HP to... I don't think it restores it to max, but it restores a decent
That
chunk.
kid seems suspicious. This must be a boss fight. Oh, you're good guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Her husband was killed by the Empire, who was a dragoon. The last Hiryu was here, but we can't understand it. So we need to find the Hiryu pendant on her husband's corpse. But the Emperor... And the reason that the Hiryus are dying out is because the Emperor actually poisoned their water.
Oh, ew.
Yeah.
That's rude.
Interesting little fact. I forget which version of it did it. I think it was Dawn of Souls onwards. That kid actually has a name. Cain.
Oh, I just had an epiphany. Final Fantasy IV is a sequel to Final Fantasy II.
It's not. Because that means the world would have had to go through a major reshape and have kingdoms spread out of nowhere in the last
True, actually,
12 years.
though.
And even then, 4DS, which gives a bit more backstory to the characters. You get to see Cain as a kid being raised at Baron.
Oh, damn.
And here we get our first Phoenix down in the series.
Wow, first one after so long. Huh?
And it's still spelled as Phoenix down. Suddenly 6 doesn't sound so ridiculous.
6 was never ridiculous.
Well, it's spelling due to the character limits. Phoenix didn't. For those who don't know what a Phoenix Down does, it more or less cures a party from falling in cures a character from
Death.
Yes, from falling down in battle, from KO, death, whatever. I've always looked at it as more of a KO kind of thing, because...
Well, then why does the ability Death only KO them and make them faint instead of actually kill them?
Shh.
I'm guessing there's a monster box in here somewhere.
Surprisingly, no, there's no monsters in this area at all, but we do get a wing sword, which is a pretty good upgrade for Cain. Anyway, as to what does what, the gold needle cures stone. I think we got the heart there. That cures... No, Elder IQ, well, crucifix there. That cures curse, antidotes poison, eye drops blind. Echo screen is mute. The Elder IQ and heart are interesting. They max out your intelligence and soul respectively for one battle. Meaning they could be useful, especially in the later versions. But I just don't find using them worth it because items work a bit weirdly in this game. By the way, and here we get some magic books, stop, curse, and mistranslated one, stone that's supposed to be stun. Sell those, they're not useful at all.
Man, that's so misleading.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, then what's stop if... Oh, is stone like hold in Final Fantasy IV?
Yes, in fact, that's actually what it's called when it gets used on you. Your status shows hold.
Huh.
Either way, we're actually done in the castle for now. We have to go find the pendant in order to talk to the Hiryu in the Dist Cave to the north, which I will warn you right now, you might want to actually head over to Bofsk, which is just to the west of us, and use the inn there and save before entering it, because for this point in the game, at your level progression, this is the hardest point in the game. Because you can run into those Gigas enemies that we ran into last part in pairs of 2! Multiple times in a row!
He ran into like 5 of them off screen. He was complaining to me over Skype and I was just laughing.
Yeah, either way, here's the pendant that the Dragoon had. Really short into the cave. He got killed off pretty quickly. So let's go back to the castle and investigate that. The way I actually tackled this dungeon was 3 trips in it. One to get the pendant, another one to get a lot of treasures that are off the beaten path, and a third one in order to actually complete the area. So now we have the pendant, we can go talk to the Hiryu. And you do actually have to do this before completing the cave, because you get an item from the Hiryu.
That doesn't look like a dragon.
Yeah, it really does. And either way, the poison spread quickly, and his wyverns and dragoons are actually tied to each other. This guy's one is named Richard, but he's missing. But the Hiryu's last wish is to submerge its egg into the water, so we can not only cure it from poison, but also just save its life. Also, as you can see, I sold some stuff off screen. You really only need the Phoenix Down, Gold Needle, and Echo Screen in the next area because those are the only status ailments you have a chance of getting inflicted with. And the only way, and even then, the only person you really have to worry about that getting inflicted on is Furion because he has the heal spell. So he can heal anyone else from that. Either way, at this point, we are going to head back into the cave. And now I'm actually going to fix what I did but earlier with the right-hand, left-hand thing. Let's see, it goes from 7 attack to 42.
So, what were you thinking to yourself as you did that? Like, was it just a sudden realization?
Yeah, I was thinking, like, wait, why is she only doing, like, 2 damage? Oh, did I? Oh. Well, that was happening every now and then. Thankfully, only, like, 2 characters in the game are left-handed. Either way, next new enemy is a soul, known as a yellow soul in later translations, I wonder why. Rank 4 enemy, 20 HP, drops 100 to 400 gold. And they are pretty much the same as the red soul enemy. They absorb more or less any kind of attack magic. The only difference is that they can only use Fire 5.
There she goes. Now she's dealing adequate damage.
Yeah. Not really annoying enemies. In fact, I'd say they're downright trivial.
I'm also noticing that your HP is increasing rather quickly.
Gigas. And there's also the fact that during MP grinding, I intentionally make sure I tank a lot of damage in order to do stuff. Either way, go ahead.
Why didn't you show any of the Gigas fights? You should have shown at least one.
Because we already saw Gigas last part. You know,
did they like? So were they really difficult? Like, did you almost die at one point? Or...
Layla, I know for a fact, actually gets killed off, and we actually get. I forget if I edit out me reviving her or not, but the main reason I edited them out is because first off, they're not required encounters like in Monster in the Boxes and such.
Okay,
they're not new monsters,
that's
and the fact
green soul. Sorry,
and the fact that each of those fights took like 2 minutes. Either way, go ahead.
True. A green soul, rank 4 enemy. They've got 6 HP. That's a very tiny amount. They drop 100 to 400 gil. They absorb fire, ice bolt, and poison. They use Cure 6 on player characters.
Yeah, I do not get the point of these enemies other than maybe a possible refresh point, because they heal you. And keep in mind, they heal you after giving you one of Maria's best weapons at this point, the Magic Cane, which is the thing I mentioned earlier that I have to use as an item. It casts Bolt 5, so Layla's Bolt spell is now effectively useless.
Well, maybe they're using Cure 6 to hinder you from getting HP.
You see, I'd look at it like that if the game actually ever did that other than this, because they don't really try to hinder you gaining stats at all.
I guess not.
Yeah. Either way, give Maria that Magic Cane, because it's so good. And now we want to head to that staircase to the east. By the way, keep in mind this floor for later, I'm going to be cutting back, I think, to this exact staircase from here. Do not head over that bridge yet, because, as you can see, there's a bit of a different looking panel on the bridge. That is where a hole is. By the way, that last fight, 2 Gigases, that was 2 Gigases. And the next one's 2 Gigases as well. And that mirror, that actually casts Wall in the party.
Wall is Reflect.
No, Wall is Reflect for physical damage. It reduces physical damage. Either way, next new enemy is a Gur-Ogre. Rank 4 enemy, 300 HP, 300, 500 gil. They could drop the winged sword that we got for Guy earlier, and an ice shield, which 7% evade, minus 70 in soul, but it resists fire, so that could be useful.
I'm looking at the Queen Lamia stats right now that you showed me. Oh my god!
That's a spoiler, Kenny.
Sorry, I just had to comment on it because it's just so unbelievable.
Yeah, but I don't really mind it because I don't really care about this game. It's also like, let's see.
Like I wouldn't spoil anything if it was 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. But for 2, sure.
At least not early game bosses. Like if it's an actual like plot important boss, no. Either way, Kenny, go ahead.
Next enemy is a Revenant. They're rank 4 enemies, 240 HP, dropping 300 to 600 gold. They're weak to fire, they resist ice, and their attacks drain HP.
So they
Gross.
could potentially be annoying if you didn't have fire or life. Because at this point, those spells take them out really quickly. So there's no real point to doing that. Also, you might be wondering, actually, beyond me already having the gouge, why I gave Layla a knife. I know I'm really late saying this. Besides the fact that she already has level 2.5, really, at that point in knives, since Guy already has swords to master up, it's just best to give someone else a knife, because then you want to focus. Also, you might have wondered why Layla was in the back row in that fight. It's because she died in a Gigas fight off screen. I can now confirm I edited out reviving her. Yeah, the Gigases are ridiculous, really. As I mentioned before, they can do like 400 damage at this point. If you can run into 2 of them, that'll still kill me in one shot, more or less.
There's another Elder IQ. And another heart.
I don't really use those items, they're just good for selling. And in here we get a Knight Armor, which is too heavy to really use, but we get monsters! 4 Adamantoises, and this fight took like 4 minutes, so I sped it up.
It sounds crazy sped up.
Also, you really get to hear how repetitive the music is in this game when you do that. As for what the Knight Armor is, allow me to look that up. I'm on the list of shields, aren't I? Oh, I am. Where?
Oh my... Okay, this music is crazy.
Okay, here we are.
To be honest, I feel like it would have been a good idea to put in another kind of music. Another piece of music, I guess.
I would have, but I don't really care to. Either way, the Knight's armor has 22 defense, but its evade loss is 26%, so it's way too heavy to really care about. However, it does at least give you 5% magic defense, and minus 44 in soul penalty, which isn't the worst. But it's really good for selling. 5,000 gil, I think it is, or is that the buy price? That's the buy price, never mind. But, yeah, Adamantoises suck. And we got a Diamond Shield from them. I did not expect that, I'll be honest. The Diamond Shield is the exact same strength as the Golden Shield I already have for Guy. 7% evade and minus 70 in soul. But the difference is what they resist. The Golden Shield resists poison. The Diamond Shield resists lightning. I'm sticking with the poison resistance because I hate that status ailment.
Do they both have the same, like, penalty?
Yes. and that in-soul pellets penalty is something you really do want to keep in mind for your mage characters, because that means essentially that their spells have a lower chance of success and lower effects when used when they have their equipment on. So for when someone has like a high-level status ailment on them or needs more HP recovered than normal, strip them of their weapon and shield, because that'll heighten its effects. Thankfully, Guy, you never have to really worry about that with. Or Layla, for that matter. Oh, and also, in this cave is one of the first areas that you'll really, even at my level of MP, start dangerously getting low on it. So bring a couple ethers around, equip them to your characters, and use them in battle, because they restore around double the MP in battle than they would outside of.
What's a Dragon Bean?
That casts a level 16 spell of something. I forget what. I think it's a damage spell. Either way, it's not really worth using. And here's the end of the area and a boss fight. You could potentially put on the Ancient Sword, which is what I was actually debating here when I paused. But I decided not to in the long run, because the next enemy isn't too terribly hard. Though you know what I actually just got reminded of from the spell you sung in sound effect in the menu? Shadowgate.
Huh.
Either way, next boss fight technically is a Chimera. Rank 5 enemy, 640 HP, drops 300 and 600 gil. They can use Flame 7 on you, which is a level 7 flame spell, really. But they're nothing really too special. The thing is that's dangerous about this is that you can run them into anywhere from 1 to 4 of them. And since Fire 7 does around 73 damage, that could be bad. At lower HPs, at least. Like, look at Layla, she's at 95 now.
Wait, so it's random how many show up?
Yes, that's actually been a thing since Final Fantasy 1. Like, you could run to like 3 zombie dragons, I believe, back in the tower. But honestly, it's not too hard of a boss fight, especially if you only run into one. The only reason it gets a boss music is because it's technically a powerful monster at this point. And the fact that I think in the PSP version they gave it this song.
Well, and also it had a sprite, so that must mean it's somewhat important.
Yeah, I suppose. In fact, that's one thing I'll give Final Fantasy 2 or Final Fantasy 1. which is rare, they actually show you when there's boss encounters, technically, as opposed to Final Fantasy 1, where they were just encounter tiles. Something I really hate. But just keep your HP on, I'd say around, depending on the amount of them you've run into, 100 to 400, and you should be fine, more or less, hopefully. Furion's not going to die in this fight, that's for certain, because he has almost over 900 HP. In fact,
almost over 900 HP.
That's one thing I'm finding odd about this playthrough, is that Furion has more HP than Guy. Which means my white mage has more HP than my tank.
Well, it can happen sometimes.
In this game especially, because of the way the stat-up system works.
I think it's a really interesting system.
It's a bit clunky and easy to take advantage of to my taste, and plus it's not beginner-friendly at all in my eyes, but I'll get more into that, especially during the credits.
That's... okay. That looks more like a... Okay, so it has a head of a... I didn't know it had a head of a dragon, too.
It depends on the Chimera you're looking at. The classic Chimera is like body of a goat, head of a lion, tail of a snake or something.
Yeah. Body and head of a goat, head of a lion, tail of a snake, and bat wings.
I recall in Final Fantasy X for a fact, because, I platinumed that game on the PS4, the Chimeras had almost all three of these heads exactly. And trust me.
In Final Fantasy IX, it had a giant mouth in the center.
Where were they
for
in
some
9?
reason. Huh?
Where were they in 9?
Memoria.
Oh. That's right.
I took advantage of their virus crunch ability for experience grinding.
I really hate the Memoria in 9 because of those damn iron giants.
I hate Ash more than that.
Yeah, I suppose. Either way, now we can investigate the water and use the egg on it to get that out of our inventory. And also to, save the hero use, but that doesn't really matter. And our quest to Dist is done. That's kind of it. They don't really direct you on where to go next. You actually have to head back to Altea, which is what I do with this jump cut. So let's see what's going on in town.
I find that very clever how you went back inside the cave to cause a cut.
Yeah, that's something I've actually been doing for a while. Either way, apparently something's going on with the princess, supposedly in love. Something's going on. She seems strange. So let's go talk to Gordon and see what he says about this whole thing.
She's in love with Sid, isn't she?
And she's gone mad, apparently. And also, dude, Sid's like 30 in this game, and she's like 18.
Well, I'm just thinking about a reference to 9. I'm just thinking about 9, okay? Hilda's married to Sid in 9. So...
I never got that reference, shit! And she wants to talk to Furion. Wow, you just kind of blew my mind with that because I never really thought about that.
Really?
Yeah. And Layla seems a bit strange there. And, oh god, cue the porno music. Ah, young love. What the hell? You're not Hilda. Either way, next boss fight. Go ahead, Kenny.
Okay, next enemy is the Queen Lamia. Oh dear. A rank 7 enemy, 1,290 HP, drops 10,000 gil. Attacks can inflict sleep, can use Temptation 9, can temporarily confuse individual party members. F that ability, especially in Final Fantasy 9. And Blink 16 increases her evade to obscene amounts for this point of the game. She can drop a Diamond Cuirass, 43 defense, minus 5 evasion, 5% plus magic defense, minus 1 intelligent and soul. She can drop a Protect Ring, 18 defense, minus 3 evasion, 21% magic defense, no intellect soul penalty, adds a death resistance. Or she can drop a Ribbon, 10 defense, 21% plus magic defense, add resistance to all elements and ailments. There.
This boss is the first one in the game that I really call challenging because that confuse ailments and that sleep ailments and that blink can really suck when used in tandem. In fact, in this fight, it actually gets kind of close because she uses Blink 16, so I have to start using fire on her to really do my damage. And also, you might be noticing, she's the first to get the second boss theme, which, yet again, reminded me a lot as a kid of Brave Fencer Musashi until I learned that that the PS1 version onwards was rearranged by the person who did Brave Fencer Musashi's soundtrack.
See, I have bad memories of the Queen Lamia in 4 and in 9, and this game is partially to blame for that.
This is my least favorite Lamia in the series, without a doubt, because for this point in the game, she can really kick your ass. Especially when someone like Guy gets confused, and suddenly you have two things dealing around 400 damage to you per turn.
I'd like to beg to differ, because in 9, for that point of the game, she has 988 HP, and she can use Might to make her attacks do 500 damage, and if she does Confuse on Zidane, and if you don't have any remedies, you're kind of dead.
The Lamias were in Gizamaluka's thing, weren't they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those ugly things. Either way, Queen Lamia, best strategy is to just do what I did. Keep your HP as high as you can, and hopefully you'll win. And I got the ribbon. That's probably the best thing I could have won for her. I forget if I'll use it, though.
It's probably the rarest drop.
I like that line. Never underestimate a female. And so now we have no idea where the real princess is. But apparently, there's a tournament at Paramikia, and Hilda's the prize. So once again, we have to save the princess. And Gordon, for some reason, wants to come with us, leaving Layla behind. Well, thank God I found that mithril shield back in the Dist Cave. And Gordon rejoins our party with the exact same stuff he had when he left, too. Not even, like, upped stats. I think. Actually, I think he has higher stats. I forget.
Wait, so... Well, then what happened to Layla, exactly? I didn't catch that.
She's got to stay behind and organize the rebellion. In fact, if you leave the area, I forget if it's leave the town or not and come back, you can actually find her in the bottom left corner of this area and talk to her. She won't join your party, but you can talk to her.
Uh-oh.
Either way, now we have no idea where to go, but there's apparently a jail underneath the arena where the princess is, so we can find her there. The arena is near Paramikia, so where is that Paramikia? South of Kashuan, in a desert surrounded by strong monsters. Well, thank God there's a chocobo. So let's head back to Kashuan and do that. Best way to get to Kashuan, by the way, is still to go over to Poft, rather, and get Sid to take you there.
Okay, I got really scared there.
And once you're at Kashuan, walk south of it, get the chocobo, everything's out hunky-dory. And I really do recommend taking the chocobo, because when they say the desert has strong monsters, they mean it. In fact, you can run into the next boss as a random encounter in the desert, I believe, at this point.
That's really... oh boy.
And I'm having a hell of a time catching this chocobo.
I mean, it's like that in Final Fantasy V, for me, at least. Actually, more in 4 than in 5.
Chocobos are adorable, but they're also responsible for some of the most pain-in-the-ass things in Final Fantasy history.
That's very true.
Like breeding! Or whatever the hell that was, Nate. And then there's Chocobo Hot and Cold. Anyway, just head south into the desert, and there's the arena. But with us entering that, we're gonna need to
Chocobo Hot and Cold is fun.
Yeah, it's fun, but it could get really annoying in terms of precision.
Tedious. True.
Yeah, but with that, and us entering the arena, we're gonna need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 6, we'll be hopefully rescuing Hilda from the Emperor's grasp. See you guys then.
Goodbye.